US President Donald Trump has doubled down that the US is winning the war with Iran, assuring that the US military is achieving its military objectives in the ongoing operations and suggesting that Tehran is desperately looking for a deal. Speaking at an event in Miami sponsored by a Saudi sovereign wealth fund, Trump said that the US was going after targets as it was controlling Iranian airspace. He added that US has another 3,554 targets left and that they will be hit very quickly.
We're crushing Iran's currently as we speak. I just looked. We had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this? They lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard. Anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. Turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later.
Trump also claimed that Iran is no longer a bully and called on the country to open the Strait of Hormuz, referring to it as the Strait of Trump.
And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. And we're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz.
Despite Trump's banter, the situation in the Strait of Hormuz remains tense. In the latest, the UN has launched an interagency task force in a bid to mitigate the evolving situation in the strait. The UN hopes that the task force will help secure the passage of fertilizers for agricultural production in the coming months. Parallel to this, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said he expects Washington's war objectives in Iran to be completed in the next couple of weeks, regardless of whether the United States sends ground troops. Following the G7 talks in Paris, Rubio said that once the operations are completed, Iran would be weaker than it has been in recent history.
As the Department of War has consistently outlined, we are on or ahead of schedule in that operation and expect to conclude it at the appropriate time here in a matter of weeks, not months. And the progress is going very well. Obviously, we have some work to do. We have to finish the job, and we are finishing that job. I did describe to our allies.
Rubio also suggested that Iran may decide to set up a tolling system for the Strait of Hormuz. He said that any such move by Iran would not only be illegal but unacceptable, and that the world needed to confront Iran's dangerous plan. When asked about Iran's response on Trump's 15-point plan, Rubio said that US did not receive any response but asserted that messages were exchanged, reflecting Tehran's willingness to talk about certain things.
We're waiting for further clarification about who is it that we will be talking to, what will we be talking about, and when will we be talking. I don't have any news for you on that yet. It could happen at any moment. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. We're not predicting it, and we're going to continue with our operations.
Later, in a post on X, Rubio clarified Washington's objectives in Iran, saying US mission in Iran is clear, adding that Iran will never obtain a nuclear weapon. Rubio's tweet, however, was mocked by Iranian embassy in South Africa, claiming that the US objective was to attack on behalf of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. However, US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff expressed optimism about the possibility of talks with Iran, saying that Iran will hold talks with Washington this week. To discuss more on this, we were earlier joined by Dr. Avner Cohen. He's professor of non-proliferation and terrorism studies at the Middlebury Institute. Listen in to what he had to say.
Interest on both sides to talk, and I think that both sides would like to find something that would allow at least a temporal ceasefire to have, in order to have more serious conversation, to get some kind of framework agreement. Whether it's enough for both sides to have enough sense of satisfaction, enough sense of requirement fulfilled, it's an open question. I don't think that's the case. And I think the United States, because of that, will have to show more to Iran that Iran is indeed, does not have a sense it's a defeated state. Both the United States and Israel feel that they have beaten Iran in so many ways and so many times and for over 4 weeks, and yet Iran is breathing and is not ready to recognize itself as a defeated state. What's interesting also is the fact that many of the neighboring states, including Saudi Arabia and most of the, perhaps all of the Gulf states, asking for the United States, don't leave it before Iran sends itself as being defeated.